Hello and welcome to the Southbound Sports Report. I'm your host, Richie Leahy. Now, this show, we got a title, actually an image or whatever, you can call it a header. So we're close to going live on iTunes. So if you find this, make sure you like us, follow us on Twitter, S-Bound Sports. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, Southbound Sports. Like us there. And I'm hoping that by Sunday for the Super Bowl, we can be up on iTunes, but I haven't had any news or anything on that. So check this out. It's going to be a podcast as well. But we're going live today, and we're talking about the 2018 Major League Baseball Hall of Fame class. We talked about this a little bit on the Southbound Sports Show, but I wanted to go a little bit more in depth. I think it's a travesty that yet again Barry Bonds was not voted into the Hall of Fame. He was never tested positive while he played Major League Baseball. There was a witch hunt for that in about 2009 or so. So they came after him, said that there was a tainted sample that they recovered on the scene of like an FBI investigation or something. I don't know if it's ever been proven. He said that he didn't take any steroids, but whatever. This is a lingering cloud. It's a black cloud over his head. It's holding him back from getting in. I think 100% he should be in. And I think every class until he gets in is going to be a joke, because there's no reason he shouldn't get the 70-something% of votes that he needs. Maybe it's 75, 74. But I will say this year, I was happy to see Chipper Jones, being a switch hitter myself. Switch hitting third baseman Chipper Jones, probably the best switch hitter I've ever seen play the game. He deserved to be in on a first ballot. It's his first one. He got 97.2% of the votes, and he basically headlines his class. Also joining him are Vladimir Guerrero, Jim Thome, and Trevor Hoffman. I'm surprised on the last two, to be honest. Vladimir Guerrero, actually all three of them. Vladimir Guerrero, he should have made it. He played for some bad teams, and I know he had a lot of great defense. He was a great hitter, so he was basically an all-around player, an outfielder. Growing up, he had a lot of hype around him. A lot of people took him seriously, but he was never the biggest name. And you could say the same with Jim Thome. Jim Thome, his stats were so high because I think he hung around for so long from a statistics standpoint. But we're actually disconnected here. So I'm not sure if this is actually going to go live, but I'm sorry about that. Hopefully it gets us back up. This is all saved. So it should stream. I'm actually not sure. I've never lost connection like this before during a Southbound Sports Report. We're using a new platform, so if there was a disconnect or some of the audio cuts out, I'm sorry. I should have a local version I'll be able to upload and replace the broken copy. So there's going to be a little bit of that inside this episode. So again, I apologize. New platform, we're trying it out here. But Trevor Hoffman, he's getting in on account of his 601 saves. So you're looking at him. Are there any other closers? I mean, that stat wasn't around forever. That's a more recent stat. I'm surprised he made it. Now, another one, Roger Clemens. Did he test positive for steroids? I'm not sure. But Clemens is another one. I think him and Bonds should get in. Schilling was close. I don't think Mike Messina should. He was actually behind Edgar Martinez, which is another one. If you're going to keep out Barry Bonds and say, oh, it's because he took performance-enhancing drugs. Did he test positive while he played? Did he break any rules while he played? No. Then you can't keep him out. Same with, who else? Larry Walker. I've seen some things on him stating that, a lot of his home runs and hits and stuff came from Coors Field. Then don't play any games at Coors Field. For the Rockies or whatever, it's in Colorado, they say the high altitude, well, I guess it's proven, the high altitude helps the balls fly out of the park faster. So you're looking at that, and you're saying, okay, well, maybe some of his stats are inflated because of where he played. Well, then don't have a franchise there. You have to let him in. Same with Edgar Martinez. His stats are high. People said, it's only because he was DH. But there's a rule for DH. So, I mean, eventually you're going to have to let some of these guys in. Maybe they didn't play like Edgar Martinez. He's basically like a football player that doesn't play both ways, which never happens anymore. But back in the day, yeah, you had guys play both ways. He doesn't play defense. He's only on offense. Some pitchers don't hit. I mean, and they're still getting in. So if you're looking at that, I know it's not an apples-to-apples comparison, but at some point, it's his 9th year. I don't know how long you can stay on before you fall off, so maybe he's going to fall off here. But, I mean, at this point, it's so big because these are a lot of guys that we grew up with, I grew up with, and some of them don't even deserve to be mentioned on this list. I'm surprised that Andrew Jones was so low. He got 7.3% of the vote just because he stayed for a long time, had a lot of gold gloves, a great defender. He played on some key Atlanta Braves teams with Chipper Jones. So I don't know if he played on the World Series team, but he was around for some of that. Then you have some of the other ones. Omar Vizquel, he was a first-time ballot, got 37%. I mean, Manny Ramirez, he fell too. I don't know if that's... I mean, Sheffield's definitely, he fell. Some of these guys, like, you're in the steroid era. What are you going to do? You're either going to have guys make the ballot from there, or you're going to have a sham of a Hall of Fame. I think it's already a sham of the Hall of Fame because of Pete Rose. Pete Rose needs to be in, and Shoeless Joe Jackson. They need to be in. You need to put everyone in that's great, and I think at this point, I don't think they can make that vote. But you need to do something, or it's going to be kind of like a tainted man's club. Or we're going to pick our favorites. The baseball writers are doing this, by the way. So these are the baseball writers' picks. And okay, so you're part of this baseball writers group. Most of them, or almost all of them, probably didn't even play the game. So why are they picking? It's not a peer group. It's one of those. It's a challenge thing. Yeah, maybe they deserve to be in. Maybe they don't. I don't know, but you're looking at it from a fan standpoint. They 100%, I think if you're looking at it unbiased, they 100% need to be in. They just need to. Some of these guys, I can see if they're marginal, but if they have the stats, like Barry Bonds has the most home runs. You can't keep him out. He has the stats to back it up. Anyone else looking at that, they're going to be like, well, why isn't the guy with the most home runs in the Hall of Fame? There were other guys. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be interesting when, I don't think he's been on the ballot yet, but Alex Rodriguez, when Alex Rodriguez comes up, he was busted for steroids. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep him out? Because you can't put him in because he's a media favorite. Because I know that's what's going to happen. They're going to go ahead and they're going to throw him in because he's now part of the media. They're going to say, well, he's a great guy. Yeah, he's misunderstood. Maybe that was just a false positive, whatever. They'll come up with some kind of excuse just because he's in the media. And they'll go ahead and put him in. And I wouldn't even be surprised if he went ahead and did that just for that reason. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and get into there. Maybe I'll get some good graces and then I can get some votes. But it looks like he's coming up in 2021, which means that's if he doesn't play this year. But at that point, that's how many years down the road? 4 years down the road? I'm hoping by the time that happens that Barry Bonds is in the Hall of Fame, and then we won't be having this discussion. But I'm going to be very upset if Alex Rodriguez comes on a first-year ballot, Barry Bonds is still on the ballot at that time, and Alex Rodriguez makes it in before him. Because you have someone who was actually caught cheating, missed time, I'm pretty sure. I don't think Major League Baseball let him get off. He was out. Caught while he played. He broke the known rules. This wasn't them looking back 6-7 years after Barry Bonds' sample and saying, well, now we found some. Now there are some in there, possibly, but we don't know because it was supposed to be like an FBI investigation. There's not any true way to know if that was his sample or anything, but he never tested positive throughout the actual Major League Baseball tests. So you can't go ahead and say, hey, he tested positive. Because he didn't. And that's where I think the Major League Baseball writers, they need to step back, look at it and say, okay, well, we have to put him in. He has the most home runs. It's a joke that he's not in. And so now you're looking at it. A lot of these guys, it's going to be interesting to see coming up to that 2021 year when Alex Rodriguez is on that ballot, what happens. But that's extra thoughts on the Hall of Fame. We're going to be doing some more Southbound Sports Report Sunday for the Super Bowl. Hoping to get this up on some of the podcast hosting format platforms, everything. So check us out, subscribe. When it's up there, I'll be putting out some tweets. Follow us on Twitter, Southbound Sports, Instagram and Facebook, Southbound Sports. And we'll see you guys on Sunday.